Hello everyone, this is SyntaxError and welcome back to another video. In today's tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at the Throwable TNT. First of all, I would like to mention that there are indeed timestamps in the description, so you can go ahead and skip to whatever section you want to skip to. And yeah, so for the item showcase, we can go ahead and type in the command give Throwable TNT and it'll give us this Throwable TNT, which we can right click to throw TNT and you'll create explosions. Yeah, so the cool thing about this is that it can be a cool little jetpack, I guess. Yeah. Yeah. So let's get straight into the coding then. Alright, for the coding part, we are back in our custom items plugin. And first of all, we're going to go ahead and create a new Java class. And we are going to call it item manager. This is where we are going to be designing the item. So then the first thing that we can go ahead and do is create a public static item stack. And we are just going to name it Throwable TNT. Then now we can create a public static void and we're going to call it init, which stands for initialization, and we're just going to leave it as it is for the time being. Now we're going to create a private static void and we're just going to call it create throwable TNT, and this is where we are going to be customizing the item. The first step that we're going to do is item stack item equals to a new item stack, and in the brackets we're going to put its material, which in this case would be a TNT. So material.tnt, and you can go ahead and put its amount as 1. Now we're going to go ahead and get the item meta. So we're going to do item meta equals to item.get item meta. Now we are going to set the display name of the item. So we're going to do meta.set display name, and in brackets we're going to type out speech marks, and we're going to go into this website to get the color code for the name, and the link to this website would be in the description. So we're just going to copy a color code symbol and we're just going to paste it in, and next to the color code symbol we're going to put a 6 for gold in color, and then we're just going to type the name, which would be Throwable TNT. So after that's done, we can move on to creating the lore of the item. So we can go ahead and create a list, and in the angle brackets we're going to put it as string, and we're just going to call it lore equals to a new array list, and then now we're going to add lore. So we're going to do lore.add, then we can go ahead and paste in our color code again, and we are just going to put a 6 again for gold in color and type item ability colon throwable TNT. Then we can add another line of lore and paste in the color code again and put 7 for gray in color and just put throws TNT. Yeah. Alright. So now that we have put in whatever lore that we want to add to the item, we can just go ahead and do meta.set lore as our lore. And then now we are going to add an enchantment to the throwable TNT item because we want to make it seem as if it's enchanted. But then later we're going to add an item flag to make it look as if it's not enchanted. Okay, it sounds quite confusing. Meta.add enchant, and we're just going to put enchantment.durability, which is unbreaking, and we're just going to put 1 and put a false because it does not exceed the vanilla limit. Then we are going to do meta.add item flags, item flag.hide enchants. What item flags actually does is that it removes the unbreaking text from whenever you hover over the item. So without hovering over the item, it looks as if it's enchanted because it will have the look, but it won't show in the text that's enchanted. Hopefully it wasn't that confusing. Now we can, since we've already added our item flags, we can go ahead and do item.set item meta as our meta. And then we can go ahead and do throwable TNT equals to our item. And now we can move back into our init and just type create throwable TNT. And the last step for our customization of the item, we just need to go back into our main class and type item manager dot init. So that's the items design now done. Now let's move on with the commands. For the commands, we can go ahead and create another new Java class, and we're just going to call it commands. Then as usual, we are just going to type implements command executor. Then we can go ahead and create a public boolean and call it on command. Then in the brackets, we're just going to put command sender, comma, command, cmd, comma, string label, comma, string, square brackets, args. Then now first of all, we are going to run in an if statement to check if the sender of the command is a player or not. So we're just going to do if exclamation mark or opposite of bracketed sender instance of player. So if the sender of the command is not a player, we are going to send them a message. So sender of send message, only players can use that command. Return true. Then we're going to create an else statement. So if the sender is a player, we are going to get the player. So player equals to bracketed player sender. Then now we are going to check if the player is opt or not. So we're going to do if player dot is opt. So if they are opt, we are going to get the command that is sent. So if cmd dot get name dot equals ignore case, and in brackets we're going to put our speech marks again and put the command, which in this case would be throwable TNT. So if the command that they type in is give throwable TNT, we are going to give them the throwable TNT. So we're just going to do player.getInventory.add item manager.throwable TNT. We're just going to add the TNT directly into their player's inventory. Now we're going to move outside to this is opt section. We're going to put an else statement. So if the player is not opt, you're going to send them a message. The sender of send message, you are not allowed to use this command. Yep. Then we can move outside of the else statement again and just return true. So now that's done. Now we can just go ahead into our main class and list the command. So we can go ahead and type this dot get command. Then in the brackets, we are going to type the exact same thing that we typed here. So I'm just going to copy and paste it because I do not want to make any syntax errors, I guess. Then dot set executor, and we're going to put new commands, which is basically the name of the commands class. Now we're going to move into our plugin.yml, which is under this resources folder here, and we're going to list the commands there as well. So commands, and we're just going to press enter, and we're going to type the exact same thing. So I'm just going to press the paste button, so I don't want to make any spelling errors again. Then we can go ahead and type the description, which in this case would be gives the player a throwable TNT, and put its usage as slash angle bracket command close angle bracket. So that's basically our commands done. Now we can move on with our items function. So for our items function, we're just going to go ahead and create a new Java class, and we're just going to name it throwable TNT. And as usual for an events class, we're just going to do implements listener. Then now we're going to create an add event handler first. So add event handler, public void, and we're just going to call it on interact, and call a player interact event, which will be called whenever a player right clicks or left clicks. Then now we are going to make sure we're going to check if the player right clicks. So we're going to do if event.getAction dot equals to action dot right click error, or event.getAction, that's not the right one, event.getAction dot equals to action dot right click block. So if the player is basically right clicking, we are going to compare if the item they are right clicking with is our throwable TNT or not. So we're just going to do if event.getPlayer dot get inventory dot get item in main hand dot get item meta is not null, and event.getPlayer.get inventory.get item in main hand dot get item meta dot get lore is not null. Then we are just going to move down just to make it slightly easier, and event.getPlayer.get inventory.get item in main hand dot get item meta dot get lore dot contains, and finally in the brackets we're going to put our speech marks, and we're going to copy and paste a line of lore that is unique to the item. So we're just going to use this line, which is the item ability, and we're just going to paste it in. And the reason why we're doing all these null checks is because we do not want the console to be spammed with null pointer exceptions. So then after that, we can go ahead and spawn in the TNT. So instead of spawning in an entity, we are going to, well, basically a falling block is an entity, but we are going to spawn in a falling block, and we're just going to name it TNT equals to event.getPlayer.getWorld, that's not the right one, .getWorld.spawn falling block, and we're going to spawn it at the player's location. So event.getPlayer.getILocation, and not get location because it is too low. So yeah, we have to spawn it at the player's eye location because it's slightly higher. Then we can put a material over here, and we're gonna put material.tnt, and then we can put a comma and put bracketed byte, and outside the bracket we're gonna put 0. So this will spawn in the TNT, and then we are gonna do TNT.set drop item as false, because we do not want the TNT when the TNT spawn when the falling block basically dies, we do not want it to drop a TNT. So we're just going to put it as false so it doesn't drop anything. Then now we are just going to move outside of our add event handlers, and we're going to create a list, and in the brackets we're going to put falling block, and we're just going to import list first. And then we are going to name our list Throw TNT. I don't know whether that's the correct grammar or not, but yeah, equals to a new array list. And basically what we're going to do is we are going to add the TNT into our array list. So throw TNT.add TNT. Now we are going to move that TNT. So we're going to do TNT.set velocity as event.getPlayer.getLocation .getDirection.multiply by 3. You can change this number if you want it to go slightly shorter. Then you can put a slightly smaller number than this. If you want to move it further, you can put a larger number. Then we can go ahead and do event.setCancelled as true. And that is because we do not want the TNT to be placed down when the player right clicks on a block. Now the spawning has been done. Now we're going to make the explosion. So we're going to do another add event handler, and we're going to do public void on fall. Then we're going to call an entity change block event. Basically what is happening is because whenever a falling block touches ground, not touches a wall, touches the ground, it will change into a block. So this event will be called whenever that falling block changes into a block. Something like gravel and sand. Yeah. Then first of all, we're gonna check if our event.getEntity is a falling block. So instance of falling block. Then we can go ahead and check if that falling block is in our throw TNT array list. So we're gonna do if throw TNT dot contains event.getEntity. Then we are going to create an explosion. So event.getWorld, that's not the correct one. Event.getEntity.getWorld.createExplosion, and we're gonna put the location of where the explosion is gonna be at the entity's location. So event.getEntity.getLocation, comma, the how large you want the explosion to be. So I'm just gonna put 50, and then I'm just gonna put false because we do not want the explosion to set fire to anywhere, and we do not want the explosion to break any blocks. So we're just gonna put false for that as well. Then now we're gonna do event.setCancel as true because we do not want our falling block to be converted into a block. And then we are going to do event.getEntity.remove because whenever we event.setCancel equals to true, we are just making sure that the entity will not turn into a block. However, the entity is still there, so we need to remove it. Then finally, we can go ahead and do throw.tnt.remove event.getEntity. So that's basically the items function done. Yep, it was quite simple this as compared to other custom items. However, falling blocks is something that is kind of cool to use and might be useful in the future, so we could bring that in first. Yep. Now, last step that we can go ahead and do is go back into our main class. We can go ahead and just register the event. So this dot get server dot get plugin manager dot register event, and we are just going to type new, and we are going to put the name of the class, which in this case is Throwable TNT, comma this. And with that, we are basically done with the coding. We can go ahead and build the artifacts, and I'll see you in the test server. We are back in our test server, and we can go ahead and run the command give throwable TNT, and it'll give us this TNT. So we can just go ahead and throw it, and it will yeah, that would be quite a good TNT cannon, not gonna lie. So yeah, now let's just go ahead and test it with the Ravager, my favorite mob. So we can go ahead and do this. And okay, honestly, I have no idea where it went. Oh. Okay, I was unlucky because it didn't land in the water, but yeah, that's the item done. That's it for today's video, I guess. If you did enjoy today's tutorial, please leave a like and subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. And if you do have any ideas for future tutorials or plugins, feel free to leave a comment down below. And today is Father's Day, so happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. You all are amazing. And with that all said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you when I see you in the next video. Bye!